Number one thing I have never liked about Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I have hesitated for a long time to make this video. I love Lord of the Rings and the associated Middle-earth content. There is one thing that has always bothered me about it, though. I have immense respect for him. I don't know what his views were on this personally, per se. Maybe there's some obscure letter or journal entry somewhere where he addresses this, but this is just something I noticed in his works related to Middle-earth that I didn't like and just don't sit well with me. Something I actually hear a lot of Christians praise is that they say his books are the story of good triumphing over evil. I don't think that's actually correct. My problem boils down to the way he handles redemption. There isn't really redemption in Middle-earth at all. In Middle-earth, once something becomes evil, it stays evil. Or if it becomes corrupted, the solution to that, the way that good wins in that situation, is that they totally get rid of the corrupted thing, the corrupted person. Minas Morgul, it's like in the movies it's shown as the home of the ring wraiths, and that's what it is in the books as well. But it was a city of humans that was once a great city and was corrupted by the influences of the Dark Lord. So at the end, in like the postscript of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it tells us in the appendixes that Aragorn, as king, has the whole city demolished and it's all destroyed because it's tainted and it's evil. And that's the attitude that's taken towards anything that becomes corrupted or exposed to evil in the Middle-earth universe. So we have like Boromir, right, in the Fellowship of the Ring. Boromir is tempted by the ring. He succumbs to the temptation of the ring. He tries to take it. He breaks his oaths. But then he realizes he made a terrible mistake, right? So what does he do? He goes and he tries to protect Merry and Pippin, but then he dies. And that's his redemption arc, is that he dies. Okay, it happened one time. There's two other examples of this specific scenario. Grima Wormtongue in the books. They really hyped up how creepy he was in the movies. In the books, at the very end of Return of the King, he realizes, I screwed up. Like, I made a mistake. I got the sense, at least when I read it, that he regretted what he'd done, and he turns on Saruman, and he stabs Saruman to death, and then Grima gets horribly stabbed to death by a bunch of angry hobbits. So we don't know what he would have done. He doesn't get the chance to redeem himself. Gollum / Smeagol. Tolkien spends 4-ish books, if you count The Hobbit, taking Smeagol / Gollum through this journey, and he comes like he teeters on the edge of redemption, and then he just tries to take the ring and double crosses Frodo and has to die horribly at the end. Everyone who makes bad decisions, the only resolution for them is to die. Like, Tolkien has no other recourse for those characters. Even characters who are corrupted unwillingly. The orcs are the chiefest examples. So the orcs, Melkor, who's like the originator of evil in Middle-earth, I'm probably oversimplifying that, but Melkor gets a hold of these young elves like at the dawn of the creation of the world, and he tortures them and corrupts them, and he turns them into orcs. Orcs are now the personification of evil in Middle-earth. They're this entire race that has their own language, has their own culture. They can like build machines, and they can establish chieftains and form hierarchies, but they don't have an understanding of good versus evil. They're just like a slave to their impulses. And so they're just born into that, and they have no way to be redeemed at all. A more individual example is Frodo. So Frodo is stabbed by a Morgul blade, in addition to carrying the ring for 3 books and being exposed to its corruption. And at the end of the series, like, the only solution is for him to go to Valinor, because he can't enjoy Middle-earth anymore. So he has to go to Valinor, which is Tolkien's version of heaven. And there's another example. So Celebrian, who is the daughter of Galadriel, who is the wife of Elrond and the mother of Arwen, and Arwen's 2 brothers who don't appear in the Peter Jackson films. Celebrian is captured by orcs. Like, it doesn't happen in the books, it happens in like the histories. And she's tortured until her sons rescue her. And Elrond's able to fix her up. He's able to heal her physical injuries. But her trauma is so great that she has to leave her parents, she has to leave her husband, her children, and she goes to Valinor by herself. So again, the only solution For someone who's encountered evil, for someone who's been subjected to evil in Tolkien's universe, is for them to pass on, for them to leave the world, for them either to die or go to heaven, which is kind of like symbolically the same thing. And this has always bothered me because his books aren't really about good overcoming evil. I actually think that as much flack as he gets, I think George R. R. Martin actually has better examples of redemption arcs than Tolkien does. And as while I think that Tolkien's amazing, I love Tolkien's work, like I have said, it's incredibly foundational, he's not my favorite. His contemporary, C.S. Lewis, had a much better grasp of this. And Lewis had this concept of redemption and this concept of it doesn't matter what you've done or what has been done to you, you can come back, you can be healed, you can be restored. This is something that I personally have had a problem with in Tolkien's work for a very long time. Let me know in the comments what y'all think, if there's anything you think I missed in Tolkien's work, and I will talk to you all later.